Hello, everyone, and it's that time of year again where I talk about one of my favorite mods of all time, and that is the Sicilian Vespers mod, or Chivalry 2, for Medieval 2 Total War. Now, I wanted to make another video about this mod. I already have two on the mod, and I have several playthroughs on the channel, but what, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is that the mod has been repackaged again and released together with the market hotfix. Um, and it has a new download link on ModDB. And in addition to all that, it also has a garrison script removal patch. So, one of the things that maybe turned people off of this mod was the garrison script. And anyway, that's been removed if you install it the way that way that it removes it. It's removed in this version of the mod. So one of the reasons I like this mod is the era campaigns. So you have a Dark Age campaign that starts in 888 BC. Unfortunately, it remained a beta, but it's quite a nice campaign. And then you have the early era campaign, starts in 1080. And then you have the high era, which starts in 1212. You have the late era, which is the grand campaign. And then the Renaissance era campaign that starts in 1401, which is also a beta, a little bit more well developed than the Dark Age one. So the main campaign of this mod, you could say, is the late era campaign, starts in 1311 AD. And I think this campaign time period really works well with Medieval 2, since, of course, Medieval 2 has a very nice late roster for almost all the factions, including the gunpowder aspect and everything. Now, the other thing about this mod is that the faction start positions change in the different eras. Faction names change in different eras depending on what's appropriate. So in the late era, we have the Kingdom of Naples. In the early era, it's the County of Anjou. I mean, those are just very nice historical little updates there. What else? I want to get into a campaign and show off the fact that the garrison script has been removed, because I think that was really something that was bothering a lot of people about this mod. Now, this mod, just simply with the era campaigns and its devotion to historical accuracy, more accurate unit rosters, and more accurate armor, and a better building system. So it's a building system that's a little bit inspired by the Chivalry 1 for Rome Total War, but not completely. It's kind of like a nice blend of Medieval 2 plus Chivalry and Medieval 1 as well. So in any case, I'll get into a campaign here in the late era, and I'll show off some of what makes this mod so cool. All right, so here we are in the campaign map, and the first pop-up you get here in the late era, you get a pop-up for every era, but in the late era, you get the War of the Sicilian Vespers pop-up. And this is, of course, about the war that was eventually between the Kingdom of Sicily and the Kingdom of Naples. So at first, the Angevins were kings of Sicily and southern Italy, so Naples, and then eventually Sicily was able to become independent, and Aragon ended up interfering, and then you had a war between the Angevins in southern Italy and the Sicilians, and this was the War of the Sicilian Vespers. And so I'm playing here as the Kingdom of Naples, and I want to show you a couple of things about this mod I really enjoy. So, of course, you have your original Medieval 2 Total War buildings, your grain exchange, your militia drill square, your standard units, your vanilla type units. But then you have the Medieval 1 inspiration that kind of comes from the mod Chivalry 1 by Da Vinci and Company. So we have seigneurial estates. I love buildings like this. It just makes so much medieval sense to me. And then you have the dungeon. You've got the Protected Anchorage, which another Chivalry 1 inspired building, and several others, of course, like the Market Rights, the Stronghold Rights, the Toll Road, as well as a few other things. So depending on the faction, there's more or less, and also depending on the era as well. We have Encastellation here in Brindisi. That's another building I really like. That's something that's not really touched upon in Vanilla Medieval 2, this process of encastellation. I wish I should include something like this in Chivalry Remastered. But anyway, let's get into a battle with the Sicilians, and I think that'll be pretty much it for this video. Now, the main thing that people forget about this mod is that this mod includes the era campaigns, and it's all a grand campaign. It's on, the vanilla map, but it fills out the map with so many new factions. You've got the Kingdom of Georgia, and then all the proper Italian sort of colonies for the late era. Then you have the Golden Horde. You have the the Ilkhanate. You have the County of Anjou from the early era becomes the Kingdom of Naples in the late era. Bulgaria in the early era is Paristrion, so this region here, which was kind of semi-independent at the time. And then Serbia is originally not a kingdom. It's kind of like a principality, and then it becomes a kingdom in the late era. So there are just a lot of things that really make sense in this mod, and the mod really does the era campaigns very, very well. And that's why back in the day, it was my favorite mod. It was my favorite mod indeed. And also the realistic horses for the early era, so they're not barded and things like that. But it is a vanilla style mod. It's an older mod, so a lot of the newer modding resources were just not available, right? So anyway, let's get into a battle here, and I'll show off a few things about the battle mechanics, and then that'll be pretty much it for this video today. All right, so here we are in battle, and as you can see, in the late era, the general's bodyguard are the milites familiares for the Kingdom of Naples, and they look quite nice. But aside from that, they have proper great helms, and the armor is accurate. So if you go to the Dark Age campaign or the early era campaign, you're not going to see great helms. You're not going to see the horse barding. It's going to be realistic progression. So this is something I've included in Chivalry Remastered as well, so that things are just more historically accurate in terms of the development of historical armor progression, right? Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about this mod. Let's charge our infantry in and just observe the battle for a second as I do the outro to the video. So, if you enjoy videos about the historical Total Wars and their mods, including the Sicilian Vespers, which, again, is definitely one of my favorite mods of all time for its devotion to historical accuracy and inspiration from the original Medieval in terms of its era campaigns, inclusion of era campaigns, which was cut from the original Medieval when they made Medieval 2. Consider liking this video. Consider subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one later.